Good afternoon, America. Shane Jenkins here, your host. Hopefully not the only host today. If we can find out where Sarah McAbee's gone, I won't be here alone. But for now, I'm here alone. And let me start this timer before I get in trouble. And no, it's an honor to be here. I've got a great friend of mine coming on the show today. Robert Morse, a.k.a. Lego Man from Lego Man Productions. He's going to talk about a couple of books that he's co-authored one, and an awesome production company that he's using to take back the culture, and I can't wait to hear about it. Robert is a excellent young man, a Christian brother of mine, a veteran, somebody I did many, many months with in the D.C. jail when we were political prisoners to the weaponized DOJ. But there's so much going on in the world, and today I've been really seeing a lot on this whole food stamps going away. And there's so many different, obviously we want people to be fed, but food stamps is supposed to be a temporary solution to help people, just give them a hand up and give them an opportunity to, catch up a little bit. And it's not supposed to be a permanent crutch, which I believe a lot of society uses, just because it's free money. And I understand that, but there is nothing free. It costs the American taxpayer. We pay for that. And so, looks like Sarah McAbee is here. Let me allow. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just talking about food stamps and how people are kind of abusing it, and it's become a permanent crutch for some people. And we just kind of want to. The shocking thing to me is a lot of people don't realize is that people who aren't even citizens came here illegally are able to get food stamps. And I think it was Patrick Bet-David said that if you took all the illegal citizens off food stamps, that we would save $7.8 billion a month, which is shocking to me because I really don't understand how the system works, how if you came here illegally, how can you get insurance for a vehicle? How could you purchase a vehicle? How could you get a driver's license? How could you get government assistance? How do you receive the same benefit? And even in some situations like New York, I did have an illegal resident living as a roommate here not too long ago, and he can't get a Texas ID because I guess Texas doesn't do this. But all the illegals either go to California or New York periodically to renew their licenses because those states are very friendly to that process for illegal aliens. And so I just think we have to figure out, and I've seen several congressmen, I guess, posting on Facebook and stuff like that about, or Instagram, whatever it is, about how they are going to create legislation to where these people don't get these benefits. And what do you think about all that?
Well, I think we're going to see some very interesting things if our government doesn't turn around with these people, because we know the kind of people that I believe these government programs are very important, but they should be timed. You shouldn't be able to stay on them forever. Things like WIC, I do know that they have funded that for women and children, but like these SNAP benefits, these EBT, like we can't even take care of our veterans in this country. And I understand that most homeless people choose to be homeless, but there's a mental health crisis in this country, and instead we are funding illegals and people that live on these food stamps and all of these programs that are meant for very specific things, but they live on them forever, and that's where our tax dollars are going to. We are not taking care of people in this country that, stood up for us, take care of us. The teachers and the first responders and all these people make terrible salaries, yet they're the ones that take care of us. The military protects our borders. Our teachers are raising our next generation. This is a system meant to fail its people, and we are seeing the repercussions of it.
I completely agree with you. I think there's another dynamic that I saw this black guy talking about it on, I don't know, one of the reels, but I posted it everywhere. And people are like just going at it, talking about it. But this guy was talking about how these women, and he was talking about the black community, saying that these women are going to have to go back to these relationships because I believe as it's a convenience to be able to have a safety net to jump out of a relationship that, and I'm not talking about people that are being abused or whatever like that. Like, completely get out of those relationships, get the assistance you need from the government. But I believe in that culture, it's kind of become a convenience to just be like, oh, I don't need him. I can just go get on food stamps. And then, now the kid, I think the interesting thing for me is if it starts bringing these families back together, it's better because the kids need a father. You don't need the single mom at home raising all these babies. And if the mom's not going to get back with the father, then she needs to find somebody who she's going to marry and who she's going to be with. And also that's going to have repercussions for the children because they're going to have a male figure in the home. May not be dad, might just be stepdad. But, I know for one that dads come in many different shapes and forms and varieties. And it's not just like my brother was always a father figure to me. My adopted dad, my stepdad, whatever it was, kids need that male. It's hard for a woman to teach a boy how to be a man. You know what I mean? I just don't
It's not their job, honestly.
No, it's not. And so I told everybody we're bringing Robert Morris on. He wants to talk about a new book that he has coming out, plus the old one. And he wants to talk about Lego Man Productions. And Rob is a busy guy. All over the place, kind of like you and I, all over the place. I thought you weren't going to show up today. Yeah.
I was off. I'm on vacation. What are you talking about?
Got one day off.
One day off a year? Thank you. You're so generous.
It was yesterday, not today. You had me panicking over here. I'm like, I don't know. Rob's got to be at a meeting at 4, so I don't know what's going to happen. Do you have anything, like a hot topic that we need to talk about?
There's always hot topics in this country. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I have one more, I guess. I just kind of was wondering what you wanted to talk about. But the people who have not been pardoned, and I don't know if you want to get into that, but you had some interesting insight into the pardon whole deal, and you don't have to give us your source. But I didn't realize that it was such a close... Can we talk about this?
I mean, we are. I don't know if we are allowed.
I don't want the answer. It doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about it anyways. It was a very fine thing about the pardons. It was not as I thought. I mean, I was very confident in November when President Trump got the victory that we were coming home. There was really in my mind, no doubt. Now, when it got down to the day of the inauguration, and I'm like, it's getting dark, and I'm like, is this going to happen? And then it did, but tell me what you told me or what you can share about what was kind of going on around that, if you're allowed, what you're allowed to talk about.
I have been told, I truly believe President Trump knew from day one what he was going to do for you all, because he is a man of his word. Anytime that it was brought up, he talked about it. I do think him even using, people like J.D. Vance and all these other people that were in the media saying, only nonviolent versus violent. But we knew what that was. They threw violent charges on people just to get longer sentences and keep them, held without bond. But even a couple of days before, President Trump said, it's going to be within the first 9 minutes. And so on the 20th, we're waiting for this to happen. He doesn't mention it in his speech. And we're like, what the heck? It's supposed to be the first 9 minutes. And then he goes downstairs and he vaguely mentions it to the overflow room, but doesn't really say anything. And so still sitting on pins and needles. Then he makes his way over to the stadium for the parade and is signing executive orders there, but does not sign the January 6th pardon paperwork or executive order for the pardons. But then he mentions that there's going to be very happy people in regards to January 6th and that he's going to go back to the White House and do it. And then when he walked in, if you watch the video, they're handing over the folder for him to sign, and he's asking questions about it. And so, and then it let, everybody, 211 of you all were able to get out of prison that day or shortly thereafter. And we know from the Federal Bureau of Prison side that it was a holiday. And so admin staff was out, and they had to call people in there, and they were doing that at like 2 or 3 o'clock. Pretty much they knew what was happening right before President Trump even put his hand on the Bible that day. And so what I have been told was it was supposed to be done within the first 9 minutes, and it being done in a very Trump historic way. It was supposed to be signed on the Capitol steps. As you all know, the Lower West Terrace Tunnel is where a lot of the violence happened on January 6th, but it's where the president walks out onto the inaugural stage. And so, but it was moved inside due to safety, weather reasons, whatever, and so he couldn't have done it then. And then there was some arguments between the aides after that, some people giving him bad advice, saying to not pardon these individuals. The other one was to trickle out the pardons over the 4 years, and President Trump said absolutely not. We just watched Biden pardon his son in the January 6th committee and all these people. He used some very choice words, but basically said, I'm going to do it. Get me the paperwork. I'm going to do it. And so that's why it didn't happen at the Capitol. It didn't happen at the stadium. And by the time he got to the Oval Office, there were 14 names left on that list that were only being commuted. And so I don't have all of the answers. I don't know how those 14 names made it, how the other ones didn't, how they got it around President Trump, but
I'd like to know who these aides are, and I would like to know whose bright idea it was to roll out pardons over the next 4 years. I could still be sitting in prison, as scary as of a thought as that is.
And that's why I think there is such a breakdown. I believe President Trump cares. I know this based on conversations that he's had with people 1 degree away from us. I've heard these conversations. I believe President Trump cares about you all. There is just a breakdown between what happens in this community, because we also know that there are things, there's not trustworthy people in this community, people that make the situation worse than what it really is. And, okay, my time is up. Go ahead.
We'll be right back after this with more Liberty's Cage.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just 2 entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a U.S.-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW. Making travel great again.
Hey, fellow patriots, it's Cindy Gross here, host of Right for America, from your favorite place, the America First Warehouse. You've seen me show on my show so many products from this country's #1 most patriotic manufacturer with close to 400 products. You need to exchange the products you use in your house to this company and make your dollars count in our country.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Hello, everyone. Shane Jenkins back with Liberty's Cage, and Sarah LeCoux showed up. Sarah Maccabee.
I was here the last segment, just late.
Right. Whatever.
Somebody's a stickler for time.
Well, I mean, this one time, yeah, for sure.
One time in your 48 years of life, yes.
Oh, I am 23. Thank you very much.
Oh, missed
So-
that.
Again, today our special guest is Robert Morris. We're going to go ahead and bring him up because he's got a lot to talk about. Again, somebody I love and care about like a brother. He's a very close friend of mine. We went through a lot together, and so without further ado, here's Robert Morris. And his camera's off, and he's muted.
Am I sideways too?
Now you're sideways.
Let's fix that here. Bam. Bam.
There we go.
Thanks.
There we go.
How are you?
Excellent. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you look beautiful, Sarah. Shane, you look buff. You guys look awesome. It's a great thing to be here. You guys are great.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, it's an honor.
We just wanted to have you on because, I know, and I'm going to say this as a friend. I haven't heard a lot from you lately, and I know it's because you're busy. And so
Oh, yeah.
it's important to get you on here because I know how important this fight is for you and for us and for this nation. And so we want to support you in that, and we want to walk with you through that. And I just want to poke you a little bit and say, hey, I haven't heard.
Well, thank you very much. I have been busy. I'm talking to publishers right now about the second book that's about to release soon. My company is about to have their first script read for Lego Man Productions, and things are really happening. I got engaged. I moved to Texas. I mean, yeah, this is happening, man. So I've been very busy. Nothing personal at all.
No, I know. It's not personal. So before we get into, people don't know who Lego Man is really, or what even Lego Man Productions is. So we need to hear, how did Lego Man come about? And, just give us your bio as in depth as you want, or as shallow as you want to do it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for the opportunity. So I left home at 17 to become an Army Airborne Ranger, deployed to Afghanistan 3 times. And on my first deployment of 3, I realized that the devastation of Afghanistan would follow me home to America if the next generation didn't know how to keep this republic. So instead of re-enlisting and, being in the military forever like I had imagined, I decided to dedicate my entire adult life to becoming a high school history teacher. So I got out of the Army, I honorably discharged, and I moved to Pennsylvania, used my GI Bill to go to Penn State. I got my degree in secondary education, bachelor's degree with a minor in history and a minor in political science, in order to pursue that calling that God had put on my heart to be that teacher. And because the pandemic was on, I didn't get a graduation ceremony, so that kind of sucked. But on December 19th was my graduation. And about 2 weeks after that, I was at the Capitol to protest our stolen election and what they did to us during the pandemic. And that's where you and I crossed paths for the first time. That was like our first hangout, as buddies.
We were close to each other on.
That's what I'm saying. We rubbed shoulders once.
Well, the picture.
Didn't know it.
Yeah, I'm in the background here. That's a good picture on Instagram too.
They did me some favors. I mean, I don't know. I didn't pay them for that, but like, they kind of helped me out, you know. But yeah, so I'm at the Capitol, and life has happened quick. And obviously, we know they stole the election. You're an idiot if you still hang on to the fact that, you know, Biden will fair and square. Or willful blindness, I guess. But yeah, so the election was stolen, but what they did to us with the vaccine mandates and the pandemic and everybody got locked in on house arrest. I mean, it's just sick what they did to us, dude. You know, and I find it hilarious that people want to protest the Donald Trump with the No Kings rally. But then again, Donald Trump never made you take a vaccine. He never made you, you know, get locked up in your homes. He never made the middle class die because of stupid mandates, you know. That mom and pop stores are off limits, but Lowe's you can go to, Walmart you can go to. You can't go to church, but you can go to a BLM rally that burns down black businesses that NPR. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, essential businesses. Yeah. So it was all upside down. You know, they don't stand for anything. But anyways, yeah, I mean. I was proud to be in the classroom. I was teaching for 6 months in Pittsburgh, and the FBI waited until the last day of school to arrest me. And come to find out in the discovery that I was given a year and a half into my incarceration, which is 100% illegal and unconstitutional, the email traffic back and forth between the FBI agents admitted that they waited until the last day of school because they knew it was going to hurt me more. That's all they wanted to do was just hurt me. They wanted to kill the attitude that I had to serve and to honor my country and honor my founding fathers and my king in heaven. So that's all this was about. It's just wiping out the attitude of American, that fighting Christ-like spirit, because Christ is a fighter. But that's where we meet. You know, after I get arrested, we're in the D.C. Gulag kicking it. That's where I kicked off the Hopium Dens. And that's where I started screaming like a banshee in the middle of the national anthem that kind of tweaked the way that we sing it from here on out, you know. And so I left my mark there. Within the 4 or 5-ish months that I was there, I got to shake Marjorie Taylor Greene's hand, and then I was immediately taken from there to Northern Neck, where I would be for the next 13 months. But that's, you know, where I got to meet Barry Ramey, Ethan Nordine, Albuquerque Head, you know, some of the other big names within the J6 pantheon, you know. And it was wild, too. So when they shut down Northern Neck, they take us all to Lewisburg, and then from there, the Lewisburg guys go to the D.C. jail. It was like my two friend groups meeting at the same bar, you know, because I had the D.C. Gulag first wave J6ers and the Northern Neck guys all under one roof. I was like, oh, man, that's kind of crazy, you know. It was exciting to witness, you know, but not so much fun to experience. That was kind of a buzzkill. But, yeah, so I get sentenced to 66 months. The prosecution uses my experience as a ranger and as a teacher against me, with the dishonorable Judge McFadden, you know, nodding to the libel. The prosecution literally said that I was making homegrown terrorists in the classroom. And without any objection from my defense attorney or, you know, the judge, you know, getting upset about that. So that was a shame, but, you know, I suffered well throughout the entire experience. I did everything that I could to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, and to let the Spirit guide me. I got into 0 fights while I was incarcerated. I had 0 disciplinary actions the entire time I was incarcerated. I held a job for, I would say, 2/3 of the entire time that I was down, whether I was a trustee in Northern Neck as a painter, or worked in commissary at Loretto, or worked in the education department in Loretto.
Let me interject something real quick, Roger. You left a vital part out of your story. You said that you used your military training to orchestrate.
Oh, well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to forget that that's a...
Yeah, no, because it bleeds into the company, so that's why I kind of end up saving that normally for last. But yeah, so I get out, and you know, on August 29th of 2024, right after the Supreme Court strikes down the 1512 charge because they acknowledged that it was unconstitutionally applied. So every single judge that convicted someone of the 1512 charge, they committed perjury, and they should be actually going to jail because they knew that what they did was wrong. So I hope that happens soon. And I don't know what the process is for that, but judges definitely should be indicted. But yeah, so we get pardoned, and now what happens? So the book that Kelly and I wrote while we were in Philadelphia, it's called One Question Remains. That's kind of like our message in a bottle, Hail Mary, to confirm to the reader that January 6th was in fact a lobster trap. And though Kelly and I might get paid a little bit of money from Amazon because that's who we use to make this happen, it's really for the entire group of January 6ers so that they can be confirmed as victims of a tyrannical government that sucked them into a lobster trap, not the other way around. We never attacked anything. If anything, there's more cops alive today because people like you got involved to save them from Antifa that was disguised amongst us in the crowd. But I get out, and I ask myself, well, what am I going to do? I want to continue to do what I had set out to perform from my first deployment in Afghanistan, which is make sure that the next generation can keep this republic. So the thought dawns on me, you know what? I did write this really awesome script while I was incarcerated. Maybe I should make a production company to insulate that story so that when this script becomes a movie for the theatrical release in 2028, it's not loaded with black gay trannies with a storyline that's terrible and everybody has pink hair because we have to, worship the woke gods, the false gods of Hollywood. I made a production company so that this movie and every other movie that follows features gritty, in-your-face, hardcore men and women who fought and died to do the right thing, to honor their God, and to save their country. And those are the types of movies that are going to help us keep this republic and stop the death of the West. So that's the point. But what am I going to call this company? And then this is where your point comes in. When I was arrested, on June 11, 2021, the FBI enters my apartment and they're passing by very dangerous objects like the Holy Bible and the Declaration of Independence and all my hunting gear and things like this. Well, they come across a nuclear stockpile of Legos. Now, I had Legos because I love them. No shame at all. I actually bought some recently and built them with my fiance until like 5 o'clock in the morning, so that was cool. But no, I also brought Legos into the classroom when I was a teacher because they help the students kind of calm down, But these FBI agents behave as if they find the holy grail of January 6th because in my possession at the time of my arrest was none other than a Lego model kit of the United States Capitol. So it was like the worst Seinfeld episode you'd ever heard of in your entire life. And the police were like, oh my gosh. We got him. The guy that planned it all, and so that's...
Rob, we got to go to commercial break, but we'll pick up right here when we get back. Thank you for tuning to Liberty's Cage. We'll see you in just a moment.
Have you noticed your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? Your paycheck feels lighter, and your savings aren't growing. The culprits? Inflation and increased money supply. They've both been quietly eating away at your purchasing power for years. Today, the dollar's value has dropped significantly. You feel it every time you spend money on goods and services. Back in 1965, $1 or an ounce of silver could buy you a gallon of milk. Fast forward to today. That same dollar barely buys a couple of coffee creamers, while an ounce of silver would get you 8 gallons of milk. Gold and silver have held their value for centuries. If you had 2,500 ounces of silver back in 1965, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Today, 2,500 ounces of silver would buy you 2 Mustangs. Similarly, in the year 2000, 628 ounces of gold would buy a new $170,000 home. Today, 628 ounces would buy you a $2,500,000 home. The problem? 95% of Americans don't own physical gold or silver. They think it's too complicated and too expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We offer a membership program that allows you to buy gold or silver with as little as $1. You can buy fractional amounts, safely vault them, or have them delivered to your doorstep, and you can liquidate them whenever you want at the highest buyback price in the industry. Ready to protect your wealth and keep your purchasing power? Scan the QR code or go to tafw.soundmoney.com to learn more.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box. And I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome to Right for America. Issues that unite, don't ignite.
I'm James Justice. We got Stephen Ruth over here. What are we doing, Steve? Fighting!
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone. We live stream every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. right here from the America First Warehouse, the most patriotic venue in all the land.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Welcome to Liberty's Cage, the podcast tearing down the walls of America's broken justice system.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Downey Jr. Podcast. Be free, stay free.
Welcome to Suffocating in Suburbia with me, your host, Stevie GB.
Welcome back, everybody. Shane Jenkins here with my wonderful co-host, part-time co-host, anyway, Sarah McAbee.
Y'all have no idea. Don't take his word for gold.
My close friend, Robert Morris, and January 6th, brother. So you were telling us you got busted with the Lego Holy Grail.
Yes.
Use that in your military training to...
Right. So the feds are now trying to state that because of my Ranger training, I'm going to use a plastic children's toy to overthrow the government of the United States of America. Single-handedly. Yeah, that's how ridiculous this got. So they're not kidding around either. They put this in my court documents. They take this in front of the judge in like my first hearing, to decide whether or not I should go to jail or not, which was botched from the get-go. But they call me the architect of the insurrection, and the one and only time the judge said anything accurate that's pretty close to reality throughout my time as a political prisoner was he called out the feds for asking, how is any of this that you're telling me possible if the Legos are still in the box? So the Legos were still in the box, it was unopened, and either I am like a grandmaster Jedi that can not only assemble Legos without opening the box and not even seeing it, and then plan a riot with something else that no one else can see, or the FBI is just lying, which we know they do all the time. So that's your choice there, But it's interesting the way that went down, not just for a little bit of comedy, but because it will go to show how much your government, your tyrannical communist government, will try to push a lie down the throats of the American people. If they can indict a ham sandwich, they can indict a Lego set. But they will do anything unless the people hold them accountable. And speaking up and speaking out is the way that you do that. So I appreciate you spreading the word, Shane, on your platforms, because the only thing that the government is afraid of is the people speaking out. Our First Amendment is labeled first for a reason. It's our first power against a tyrannical government. But the reason why this is even more important is because an individual who's working within my company now confronted me recently, and he said, hey, do you know what Lego Man means in Latin? And I said, I have no idea. He explains to me that Lego Man can mean either I anoint men or I assemble men in Latin. Now, we believe in a God that renames men. Abram became Abraham after he passed the test of faith. Jacob became Israel after he wrestled with the Holy Ghost all night long. And then Saul became Paul after his, Damascus conversion. I have been renamed Lego Man through the fire and through what my enemies wanted to destroy me with. God always wanted to use for our favor, and I have been renamed a moniker that means I will anoint and I will assemble men. And that is what we named the production company. A production company that's going to anoint and assemble men. Yeah.
And I sit here and I think about it, and I'm like, man, if you wouldn't have gone to January 6th, you'd probably still be teaching high school, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But just look at I wouldn't be doing a podcast. Like, Sarah wouldn't be here. It's just like there's a crazy dynamic. If you just didn't go that day, like, where would your life be?
I'd probably be miserable. I'd probably be fat. I'd probably be married to the wrong woman. And I would probably be hating myself that I didn't go to that day. Because we all knew that we needed to go there. I mean, there's so many men within our friend group that know that God made them go. And I know that you can testify to that, and so can I. And so the Spirit is moving in a really huge way. And so, and with this company, when I unveiled it at the 1A Film Fest, I said publicly on stage that, we confer our contest with the Almighty, or not with the Almighty, with Hollywood rather, that it's like David and Goliath or Elijah fighting against the prophet of Baal. But because Hollywood has tried to separate me and my generation from my God, and because Hollywood has mocked our God for so long, we are going to chop the giant's head off with its own sword. So you're seeing right there in front of you the Lego Man Productions website. That is our website where you can not only enlist, but you can support. There's the speech I just referenced there, but you can also see what we're about. We want to go on the offensive, provide an alternative, and we're growing by the day. I mean, the whole concept of this is to take that mountaintop back that has been completely defiled by mainstream medias and cultures that completely worship Satan and other false gods. There's no reason that we should have to tolerate this any longer. And so what we're doing now is we're going to provide an alternative forever that gives movies that kind of edgy bitterness that we loved from Braveheart, from Troy, from Gladiator, but then make those movies also honor God, that reference Scripture, that do the right thing to challenge the next generation to step up to the plate. So it's very exciting, and it's intriguing, and we could use your help. I know that this can really happen without anybody wanting to, pitch in. That's why the logo, that I designed is essentially showing someone putting the pillar back up to where it belongs. I designed that, and that was a gift from God as well. But the whole point of what we're doing is to put something back where it had fallen from and reassemble it, like Legos, if you will. So you can find us on social medias. You can Lego Man Productions. We're on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. The YouTube is growing day by day, and our viewerships are going like hundreds each reel. It's really cool. We're growing day by day. We've actually got 16 people that are coming from across the country to be at our script read on the 8th. So it's very exciting. And so, we're really doing this. We're not asking anybody for permission. We're just asking for help and support, because we know that this is something that we can accomplish as a team and as a family and as a faith. These are going to be faith-based films worth fighting for, that restore heroes and reclaim our culture. We have nothing to apologize as Christians who built the world in the image of God. And because that's under attack, we need movies that can not just entertain, but also educate and inspire people to stop the death of the West, to inspire and educate people to keep this republic. Because you can say anything, But if you watch a man with his back up against the wall and everyone's betrayed him still decide to do the right thing, that's the type of movie that stays with you, and that's the type of movie that motivated me to do the right thing when we were in the belly of the beast. So that's what we want to provide, and there's a reason why there is such a vacancy within Hollywood these days of those types of stories and those types of characters, because the devil knows that he's running out of time, and so we're gonna kick him out the door. That's essentially what we're going to do here at Lego Man Productions. And then we've got the book that's about to be released here very soon. So I've been very busy. So nothing against you, brother. I'm on the war path. I'm on the war path because we have a country to save and we have history to fix.
No, for sure, and it is a fight worth fighting. And we're thinking we're coming up on our 250th birthday, and I think how are we going to ensure that we make it another 250 years? Because I don't think empires usually fall after about 250 years. I think that's about the gist of it. Sarah's got the One Question Remains, and you can find that on Amazon, correct?
Yes, so One Question Remains, that is the book that was smuggled out of prison that Kelly Meigs and I wrote, that essentially confirms with multiple points and hundreds of citations that January 6th was none other than a lobster trap. It was not an insurrection, that we're actually the real victims of that day, and everyone whose family members didn't come home from that situation.
Your copy right there.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, we all have to do our part to fix history. And you raise the perfect point. How does this country survive another 250 years? We overwhelm the opposition with content that is verified and Christ-like, so that the next generation, when they wonder what is this whole thing about, there is a surplus of opportunity to find books, TV shows, movies, graphic novels, interviews, you name it, of everybody telling you something opposite of what they try to tell you on January 6th. And so if you want to bring down a beast, maybe you have to, gather up everybody, like the Stone Age, where we had to bring down a mastodon. The whole tribe had to come out, and maybe 100 spears had to be thrown into this thing before it went down, but it was brought down. We can bring down the beast as long as everybody shows up to do it. And if you love this country, if you pray to God and you're serious about living here, we need your help. Lego Man Productions is going to cut off the giant's head with its own sword. We just need your help to help lift this thing up over its head when the time comes. And so we're on the war path. We're not asking anybody for permission except for the Almighty King that we love and trust. And we want to make him proud. We want to make Charlie's sacrifice matter. We want to make Christ's sacrifice matter. Ashley Babbitt's sacrifice matter. And the sacrifice of our founding fathers not go quietly into the night on our watch.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you bringing the whole trial, you make me think of how bold evil has become when you think about Charlie Kirk, or you think about, the transgender flashing her boobs on Easter at the White House, or the DEI, or the persecution. And we played a very vital role in all of this. The persecution of the Jan 6ers was a huge rally point for a political point and for sympathy for what we've endured, but also exposing, that was like the first broadside in the weaponization of the DOJ, alongside with President Trump getting attacked, but also the pro-life people, the soccer moms against the transgender stuff at school and all that. But the enemy has become so bold that there is an innate, even without Christ, I believe there is an innate moral compass that man has. And I think that evil has become so bold that people are moving and saying, I don't know why, but I know this is wrong. You know what I mean? Especially mocking the death of Charlie, whatever it is, just evilness. And I think there is a very strong push, and I think it's a wave that our culture is catching right now. And I think this is the perfect time for you to release your production company, so we can ride that wave and maximize the potential and outcome on our culture.
That's right. We have a 3-year window where everything that we do now matters. We don't know what's going to happen in 2028. However, our plan is to release this first breakout movie coinciding with the presidential election of 2028. And this is something that we would love to work with you on so that there is a heavy January 6th presence with the production and the acting and the distribution of this movie. And so that can be a conversation for another time. I know Jen Baker was great with making that Gateway Pundit article about us, but that's just the beginning. We're not stopping, and we know that we're not just doing this for ourselves, but the founding fathers who put this country together, they didn't do this for themselves either. And as a matter of fact,
we got to go to commercial break, Rob, but we'll be right back with more with Robert Morris, my co-host Sarah McAbee, and myself, Shane Jenkins, with Liberty Cage. See you in just a moment.
You've worked hard and saved, but inflation and increased money supply are eroding your buying power. Protect and grow your wealth with physical gold and silver. Sound Money. With a Sound Money wallet, your wealth stays in your control. Buy fractionally, vault securely, ship directly, and instantly liquidate your gold and silver at the highest buyback price in the industry. Real money, real ownership. Visit tafwsoundmoney.info or scan the QR code and start securing your financial future today.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
Live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Welcome back, everybody. Shane Jenkins again with Sarah McAbee and Robert Morris, and just talking about the culture war and the fight that we're in. And it's kind of, I don't want to say it's discouraging. I mean, it is discouraging because we've still got 14 people who haven't been pardoned by the president for January 6th. And these are people who were part of militia groups, but who did less, like physically less than you or I on Capitol grounds, or and I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. What I'm saying is I think these people are probably less culpable than you or I. Not saying that we were wrong, but you know what I mean? Like, if you look in the letter of the law, like,
yeah.
And it's frustrating that I feel like, and I was sitting here thinking about earlier, I don't know how long we've been out, like 8-10 months now.
Yeah.
I feel like I've lived a lifetime in this 10 months, but I also just feel like the needle being moved as far as us seeing, and I know this is a big ship, and it's a difficult thing to turn around.
Yes.
He had a lot of time to destroy a lot of stuff, but it just seems like, man, it's so slow. You know, I mean, do you feel that way, or how do you feel about that?
I can sympathize to a degree, but then I also have to remember that the Biden regime didn't do a number on America alone. They also did a number on the world. So now Donald Trump is tasked with not just fixing America, but also fixing planet Earth, which is crazy, and that's not his responsibility, but no one else is going to do it. And so I think that, yes, it is frustrating because there's so many issues that, you know, it's like a ship taking on water, and like half of this side got plugged full of holes, but this side is like still leaking. You're like, okay, now you're gone. Like, what? You know, so granted, two things come to mind. It was never Trump's responsibility to fix this country. If you read the preamble of the Constitution, it's always been our responsibility to do so. You know, like I made a post on Instagram recently that's kind of satire, but it's true. Like, we can stop complaining and start changing it ourselves. That's why I'm making the company is what it is. You're doing your thing. Everybody needs to rise up on their own accord. But then the other thing about it is that the Democrats did such a number on the planet that now Trump has to clean up messes all across the world. And I know that he'll come back and, you know, things like that, but our entire judicial system needs to be revamped, because what sense would it make to put Obama or Hillary Clinton in front of Trevor McFadden when they recognize each other from Epstein Island? They're going to get acquitted. And then now that case is done with. So the entire top to bottom of the judicial branch needs to be reexamined. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. The best advice that I can give is, you know, and I know it sounds a little corny, but we're kind of in it. Watch The Lord of the Rings. Because you go from seeing 9 men that want to help save the world, and it sounds almost ridiculous, but then because they never gave up and they get broken up and they come back together, you watch all of their country show up to do the right thing at the 11th hour, right before it's all about to fall apart. And we're in that kind of a moment where everybody's about to have to make a choice. Are you in or are you out? We have already made that choice. We did that back in 2021. We're in, baby. We bet it all. Our job now is to encourage others to be just as passionate as we are, and that's what we're doing. And so 3 years from now, I can only imagine how powerful and how strong and how determined and dedicated we're going to be. I know I'm going to be a father by then. That's at least the game plan. But, like, we're doing this. We're not leaving anything on the table anymore because we don't have the time. The urgency that our founding fathers had to separate from England is the urgency that we feel in our hearts, and that's what makes us freedom fighters, and that's what makes this moment so precious, and that's what makes me proud to be an American.
You couldn't have said it better, I don't think. What do you think, Sarah?
No, I know you have to go, but I just want to say thank you for coming on, because I know how important it is with what you're doing. You know, it might feel daunting to take on the federal government, but you have overcome that, and now you're looking at future generations, because it's so important. It's like, you know, I say all the time, it's not about the last 4 years, it's about the next 250 years, and who is going to be telling our story when we are dead and gone, right? And so it's a matter of who's writing the history books, who's writing the biographies, who's doing these movies. And so it's so important that you have put future generations first, because we have to learn from this. One of the reasons we started Stand in the Gap was to ensure that this never happens again to American citizens. And I think with what other people are doing too, what the Gateway Pundit has done, and Blaze Media and Epic Times, and what you're doing with the production company, once it's in writing, it's never going to go away. Someone will find it some way, especially with the internet now. Once it's up, it's not going down. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for future generations to come for what you're doing. And you have encouraged so many people to truly rise up to take on the sword and do their part.
Thank you, Sarah. We love you. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. We're going to do this, man. We really are.
Also, though, too, I don't know, it's always awkward to plug stuff, but you have a Give, Send, Go, and it's called, what is, do you know the...
Yeah, LMP, that's it. Lego Man Productions. If you go on a Give, Send, Go right now, you can find that we're trying to raise $1 million, and we've already used some of the money to, you know, fly people in for the script read. But yeah, if you were to go to Give, Send, Go and just type in Lego Man Productions or LMP, be, you'd find it. We appreciate your support, and that's definitely something that we could use in this, very infantile stage that we're at. Until we reach that threshold where we have those 7-figure donors that are thinking, okay, these guys are going to accomplish what they say they're going to do. And it's only a matter of time. So we fake it till we make it, and then we fight until we see the dawn. So I'm pumped, man.
I'll say something about you. Robert Morris is not faking anything. If there's somebody that I would stand behind in battle or the front lines, whatever it is, behind this production company, behind what I'm doing, I'm with you all the way. Wherever you're going, I'm with you. I support you. You're a good man. You're be a good steward of the money that people give you. And I encourage people to tune into his YouTube channel, go to his GiveSendGo, follow this young man. He's headed to the stars. So just hang on, grab his coattail, and ride with him.
Yeah, we're taking the whole nation with us, baby.
Rob, I have to say I'm quite disappointed. I thought when you came on today, you were going to do the Mulan, I'll Make a Man Out of You, so people can see what the production company is actually about. So we will have to have you back on to do that.
I was tempted to do that just for you, sir, but yeah, let's do it next time.
You've got a meeting to get to, man. We love you, brother. So
yeah, we so appreciate you.
Whenever if it's breaking, let us know. Reach out. We'll get you back on to talk about it, even if it's just for a short talk or whatever. We want to have you on.
I'll give you an update about how the script read went. How about that?
Yes.
Well, we love you, brother.
Love you guys too. See you soon. Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
All right. Well, you heard it there from Robert Morris. Just, man, such a wholesome, good young man. And it was an honor to be with him in jail and to serve with him. I've probably got on one hand how many friends I have that I'm that close to. So
I would say, too, he's the definition of taking what you've been through and becoming a victor and not a victim. He definitely doesn't have that mentality that, the government owes him, which they owe every single one of you all. I understand that. But he is out there doing his own thing. He's not waiting for that check to come in to then start the production company. He's not afraid to go to the American people and say, this is what I've been through. This is why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. He is out there making it happen. And it's just exciting to see that the fight that he's in, it's never easy starting your own company, doing whatever, but you can definitely see the Lord moving through him in so many ways.
I mean, similar to us and me, like he was preparing that book while he was in. He was already writing that script while he was in. He was already walking in his calling. And I think that's what you have to do is like you don't just, okay, I need a $10 million loan and I'm going to start this company. No, you start that company like in your heart before anything ever happens. And that's just kind of where I think it has to, especially if it's something you're going to be dedicated to or passionate about, you just have to start walking in that. And I think that's what,
the Lord can't steer a parked car, right? And they talk about faith the size of a mustard seed, which we talk about often. And it just shows bringing on somebody like him, he's doing his part, and I think that's, other people should look at him. Courage is contagious, and look at him and say, you know what, I can do my part, whatever somebody's part is.
Yeah. He can't steer a burnt car either, so.
Really? Well, we know where that's sitting right now.
That's your sister's house.
Oh, the stories that we have.
We had a wonderful couple in Pennsylvania donate a 1987 Volkswagen Vanagon, Wolfsburg edition. It's the van that the top pops up and it's got like a pop tent in the front of it. And I drove it from Pennsylvania, headed to Houston, and stopped to show it to Sarah. And
there it is.
That's what it looked like. And well, I mean, that's what it originally looked like. And then have the after photos.
Well, here's one.
Yeah, the fireman, putting the fire out on the van. That's right in front of Sarah's house. And so I'm actually in the process of the insurance company. If anybody knows a good insurance lawyer who wants to fight Haggerty Insurance for us, they don't want to pay the claim to pay for the freaking van. So a tragic thing. But that van, I don't think it had very many miles on it, and it's a collector.
No, it was well taken care of too.
Love those things, and I've had a lowrider. I had like Corvette, Cadillac, CTSV, like, and people are like, oh, that's a cool car, but like I drove this thing and I've had people pulling up on the highway, like giving me the thumbs up, rolling down the windows, stopping at the gas station, asking me about it. So if you are watching this, we do have guys that need vehicles, pop-out trailers, whatever it is, RVs. We also have a 1992 Toyota Dolphin that Sarah loves that I have in my driveway right now. We're trying to find a home for it. But, we do accept vehicle donations at the foundation. We do also accept...
And we do have somebody in need that needs welding equipment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Pete Schwartz is a welder, and we're working on setting a thing up for him, but he needs I'll have to get the stats on what he needs, but it needs to be able to fit in the back of a pickup. But he's trying to get a welder so he can branch out on his own and get back to his trade. And
I think that's the thing about most of these guys that we've talked about. The majority of them don't want to hand out. They want to hand up because they've already felt like a burden for the last 4 years of being incarcerated, not being able to provide. It's very expensive to have somebody incarcerated, to pay for commissary, pay for books, visitation, all of that. And so now they're back into the real world and trying to either get back into their trade or learn a new trade. And so it's not necessarily even just about money that you give them. There are needs that need to be met for these individuals to get back into their career or their trade.
Oh, for sure. Well, one other thing I wanted to bring up, a valid point, and we'll get out of here. Who's not complaining about losing their food stamps?
Who?
MAGA is not complaining about losing their food stamps. So I'll just leave that there. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. I'm Shane Jenkins, and that is
Sarah Maccabee.
This is Liberty's Cage. Joe the Box, Martin, everybody in the production room, we love y'all.
And Adam, special shout out to Adam.
Everybody else at the America First Warehouse, we love you.
Are you doing the Trump dance right now?
Some might say the best.
The bestest.
Anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. God bless you.